he ordered the distributor caps to be taken off the Jeep to render it inoperable, and for his men to start making preparations to move to the rear in a fighting withdrawal. Now, just as Bulge was trying to call regimental headquarters to understand the situation and get instructions, the radio he was using was shot out of his hand. Also, as well, the radio on the Jeep was shot up, rendering all contact with regimental headquarters inoperable. Now, by this stage, the Fallschirmjäger did not want to make any more frontal attacks, and that was understandable given the extreme losses that they had experienced. At this point, the NCOs of the battalion pleaded with their officers to make a flanking attack on the Americans. The officers granted this, and approximately 50 Fallschirmjäger moved up from the positions behind me, and then they attacked the woods in the flank there. Now, just as the Germans started to overrun Bulge's positions, some of the Germans, as they moved through the foxholes, set off tripwires, and they were injured and killed by grenades. Now, at this point, when the Germans reached Bulge's foxhole, a stray bullet from one of the Germans struck him in the calf. Other men in the platoon had been wounded, and one man had been killed. But the Germans had finally, in their final flanking attack, had won the day here at Lanzarat. During the dawn to dusk fight, the 15 remaining men of the Intelligence and Reconnaissance Platoon, supplemented by the 4 men of the 371st Artillery Forward Observation Team, had repeatedly engaged elements of the 1st Battalion of the 9th Fallschirmjäger Regiment, totalling some 500 men. The Germans reported 16 men killed, 63 wounded, and 13 missing in action. Some other reports have suggested that the Americans inflicted between 60 and 500 casualties on the Germans, but it's very difficult to verify those. Now, only one American, forward artillery observer Billy Queen, was killed, and in Bulge's platoon, 14 out of the 18 men were wounded. Thanks to Bulge and his men's action here, on the 16th of December 1944, they had single-handedly held up the advanced elements of 6 Panzer armies advance towards the Meuse rivers during the opening phase of the Battle of the Bulge. Bulge and his men were taken prisoner by the Germans, and they were held in the Café Scholzen here in the village. And when he was being held captive there, a very irate Waffen-SS officer entered the building and wanted to know what the hell had been holding up the advance for so long. This incensed Piper because he knew that none of them had personally gone out there and carried out reconnaissance to understand what the US dispositions were. And it just showed the vast lack of experience that was now a problem within the German Fallschirmjäger unit.